Hello and welcome back to Of Scribes and Men. Welcome to Volume 10, which is going to close out the 1,000 poems that I have thus far written. Yes, I have been writing more poems since this time period, but this is going to close that out, and I'm going to splice it all together at the end once I've got these volumes out, so that there's going to be like one big compilation between like volumes 1 and volumes 10. It's probably going to be like several hours long, but that doesn't matter because we're going to start with a more relaxing thing, which is going to be my own form. So it's basically going to be free form, so basically my bread and butter, and it's going to be the two forms that I invented, so the Ascendra and the Cavallin. That is what volume 10 is going to be about. There's going to be no other poetry styles except those three. The two that I invented, and the one that is my bread and butter. Ghost in the library, sorting at night, correcting the errors, setting things right, knowing which books they come to seek, cover to cover when they take a peek. Every night when the library lives, from the 1,000 of books it freely gives, the books do fly and the books do sort, much like a ship that comes into port. Should there be one with a prying eye, they will see no books flying in the sky. And if you're insane, no one would believe the tricks they have right up their sleeve. Yes, strange things happen late at night that none will know or will shed a light, as the library chooses with the ghosts inside, where things must go and where it must guide. Living in comfort, so conflict they start, blaming all except who played a part. And so the division grows into hate, obvious why it's all in its state. Many mysteries that go abound, some discovered and others to be found. Yet it is our desire to seek and to know all the things that the world has to show. We are the lost on forgotten land, alien streets on now which we stand. Yet they do not know, for they cannot see the lost and forgotten in reality. The light of the sun on the skin it does kiss, change to a season when the others, while the other we miss, and as such things are all things, as such things are, all things go along, as we whistle a tune of a new song. Everyone has a favorite time of day, a time to a time to wake and a time to play. Yet some more clearly than the other, should you awake too early, they will want to smother. They say words don't have power as they dig into skin. Is that why always to force a sharp grin? For many things words can amass, from peace to wars to bring to pass. What ultimate deal would you go strike? What is the thing that you'd really like? To shake a hand, have it come true. What is it that you truly would do? Have you ever lived between a dream sorry, let me back up. Have you ever lived between the dream and the real, where things are wobbly and you can't fully feel? As the hidden clock awaits for the call of the time when in the bed you'll fall. Many a chance for those who'll try to reach the stars and the sky, but one must also have a proper sleep for a mind so fresh and a body to keep. Silence comes, can you hear the sound of only your heart's thumping around before insanity begins to creep as you lie awake to never sleep. Howl to the moon, the unknown, hunger in their eyes, shone. Heralds come riding in, it begins, heaven's wrath starts flowing, sins. If my path is to be alone, let my skill shine and be shown. If nothing else, let it be my desire to have a legacy to inspire. When my hand grows numb and weary, and my eyes heavy and dreary, allow me to continue on, through each day, through each dawn. I look at my work and sometimes frown, wondering if I've got everything down. When perfectionism comes my way, doubts raise their voice to have their say. Is it really okay to not find a wife, to go by single alone all my life? If this is set to go and be, then take the sorrow away from me. Perhaps it is by God's divine hand that sets my path and where to stand, although I may not always hear, my heart calms when you are near. Jesus is the one to which I trust, not because I can, but because I must. Even though I may not succeed, he is still the one I need. Sometimes one must hit the ground and learn new things, as you come to find. That may not be mere concession, which brings about strange obsession. That blessings come in all life's joys through the wreckage and the noise, for all the things blessings bring, so we may go rejoice and sing. The mind does wonders to gift, towards ways to grow, lift. Times and seasons they are growing, reap the reward sowing. Such pretty words with thorns on your side, with every breath as they grow inside. Dripping toxins at their tip with every cool thing you let slip. They say every rose has its thorn. Should I be concerned about the spike or the horns? Might as well be poison ivy with those vines. I should have ignored all the signs. Thorns from growing from your lip to hurt and paralyze, dripped into the poison of a myriad of lies. Enough time has passed and my body becomes numb, eyes gone hollow as we begin to succumb. Now thorny vines wrap around our body, thorns growing like a garden on everybody. From all the words we talk and say, that digs further in through every day. Childhood victims to appearance insanity, wanting friends before questioning humanity, before warming themselves, before every burning bridge. No use crying over missing milk spilled from the fridge. From the house to house through every move, with every adjustment would anything improve. Catching up before procrastination again sets in, mind gone numb to simplistic problems within. To dreams of love, causing pain and hurt, with energy ever difficult to exert, before beginning to question the self and mind, trying to figure out their place in kind. Going to have encounters with life in a distant land, while struggling to survive and stand. Finally going back to the place where comfort sleeps, as ambition begins to grow where shadows creep. I've stopped waiting for inspiration to catch the muse, lining the keg of ambition before lighting the fuse. I do not need the 9 to claim what will be mine, towards the calling to clasp in a line. Debates of can or cannot, when the limits of endurance that I have sought, while others test their bodies in each kind, I aim to test the limits of my artistic mind. If there is a concept to grasp, I'll write it. If there's not, then I'll fight it. For there are many things I do not know, although this is the path in which I go. Can speed replace quality? I hear them pondering. What are the limitations? I hear you wondering. For one is a human and not a machine. So how far can one's skill really lean? If we were watching by hand, it would be on fire, as it cramps up due to my obsessive desire, for things that I long to see and know, and then to the world present and show. A small light allowing us some sight in the dark of night to deal with shadows to fight. Of the 4 elements around where I long to fly, the earth will ground, to fire to ignite where while along Let me start that one around again. Of the 4 elements around, when I long to fly, the earth will ground. To a fire to ignite while along the waters flow. Now using the elements, how I long to go. What is the reason to hate? Should one be but a day late, when it's a promise to no one except yourself to have it done? Are short words truly complete? Will they always remain on that seat, or will they become works in progress in a future time of inspiration stress? Will you come across the grotto among the groves, where the fairies flitter about cooking food on the stoves, to escape from the monotonous days as the werewolf perform their musical plays? There is a case of nonsense writing where cats fly and hats go crying, placed on a dare from a neon mushroom, now questioning your own life and doom. Will you have a taste of whimsy? Will you, where you wiggle around and things get flimsy, to burst forth into song and dance like a vampire who decides to frolic and prance? I am but a name in the air, none remember, upon Pantheon once an ancient member. Though time passes and the methods change, as none will know the things I arrange. Blacksmiths in the forge to create, between the burning fire alternate, balancing with rhythmic precision the metal before the finishing touches settle. Acceleration when in my own style, no need to pause or stay a while. Press the pedal and on I go into the mind's artistic flow. No need for a muse when you hammer through. Why stop when you know what you can do? Yet moments of rest are always needed, so the flow does not become impeded. I call the ghost cities my home, abandoned sites among where I roam. I am no spirit trapped in place, but follow the echoes of history's traces. But if you desire the truth of the matter, there is no reason for me to run and scatter, as a yokai that the people often fear, or to hunt to make charms and potions clear. Now, you may ask which am I, to find the ad out, I'll let you try. For no clear answer will I give in the place I roam and live. I could be one, I could be another, I could be one who enjoys to smother. But a small hint, just a sliver, I promise you there is no river. Among the places I sought peace, as I watched lives move out and cease, and as I began to stay more begin to show, like the Tsukumogami, as you should know. With them I've sat and talked with many things of outside life and what it brings, and occasionally every other day there are games we will go and play. Yes, the ruins of the city is where I roam, a wonderful place we've come to call home, and should you hear music on the wind and air, just pass on by without thought and care. Listen to the sound of my heart beat slow, feel the rhythm of its steady flow, and when we're close together, the beat becomes our love's tether. Is it an act of the lazy to live in a life so hazy, hiding in places you won't see, where things are easy as can be? A bed of roses among the vine, a path between the lines, entering into a circle fair, placed upon a phase charming dare. Speed is my friend when in the flow, down the slide where words may go, and although I may not always know, I enjoy the places where words flow. Fae come to beguile, and charm, following with amused eyes, disarm. Fingers gesturing to draw, you near, facade of the fickle appear. Will one stand upon their waist in their pride and haste, oblivious to all they've done, never knowing they haven't won. If I had more time, would things be longer, for skills to grow and become stronger, rather than being in constant haste, with the words that must be paced. A smile on the lips, and they all fall towards the sound of a digital siren call. Of the lonely who know not love, as they now go and push and shove. All the worries that begin to creep, keeping us up, preventing our sleep, of things done earlier that day, wondering if there was another way. To those who come across, I will not lie on this volume and what to take, even though you may not ask why, it's all meant to be a simple break. Because the next volumes are going to have new styles, new things, new everything. This is but a reprieve in the grand scheme of things before things start getting crazier in future volumes. How do the soldiers tear down the city with a sword or with pity? And what of the poet or king? Was it by songs to sing when the words they bring? How, oh how do they bring the city down to make them so revered and renowned? You may have failed, but that's no reason to stop, for how else are you going to make it to the top? So pick yourself off the ground and go at it again with another round. A race against time before the day's end to reach it by the hour and send the work you set out to do, even when others have no clue. Words like lightning seep to the bone, into the bone, to claim the pen and make it your own, all while in a moment of an electric spark within the night and dark. Is the monster under the bed haunted by the monster on the bed unwanted? Do they know of the other's fear when words could make things clear? Time changes all things, so we adapt, even in an oblivious awareness as we napped. And so I woke, being the only one around, as I wandered around the forest ground, talking to birds to know where all have gone and to where they've all been drawn. Learned of the people's forest of light and stone, while I was left sleeping on my own. So I went on to the edge so I could see whatever the reason could simply be, for the fate to change and go to the cities that never sleep in their light show. The forest of green or the forest of gray, what day when there's no one to play? And so I changed and made my way down as a lady in a beautiful, enchanting red gown. Everyone is always in a rush, never slowing down to hear a silent hush, almost as if it's become a fear of hidden things that dwell near. Give me a glass of your desire, as we talk of all things and by the hearth's fire, of the time when you were but a queen, now a shadow of what you once had been. There is no need for me to chastise. I simply come to listen and offer words of the wise. They say there is a dark side of the moon, where strange things go commune. Yet the only thing strange is your eyes and the slip between that reflects the eyes. Shouldn't that be skies? The slip between that reflects the skies. That should be the skies. A man in his hubris challenged for a game to win, to the divine for a soul to draw in, from a simple act of his desperation for the sake of his vindication. The divine, like treating a child, rambling about, acting wild, agreed to the game. Jacob would never be the same. Through the wrestle he would cling on, through the night until the break of dawn. A hand was placed upon hip and bone, before gifted a new name in which to be known. For a simple blessing he did fight, all through the starry night, for he knew he must succeed to be given the grace he would need. I would like to befriend a raven or crow, as a gift of treasure and what they know. I would like to befriend a raven or crow, a gift of treasures and what they know, for they are not the omens people see, but they know where the omens could be. Peace be still, a message and will, for blessings to come fill, a moment of grace through goodwill. Time is what we go and make it, while others go to relax and sit, although to them I cannot blame, for we have all done the same. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. How far would one willingly go before their endurance begins to show, for the goals they wish to attain and the dreams they wish to gain? Excuse the moment of mirth for what it is all worth, for those who say they try in the same breath as they lie. Like Chaucer, a weapon of poetry, as he mocked what he saw and heard. A message made ever so clear in irony, and all the emotions that would be stirred. There are things of which are too far down, with what to do with the future crown. For it is in the moment I stand, to release all from the head out to the hand. Should there be a dance to bring, may I ask for a waltz or West Coast swing, of the two that I hold near and dear, and would love to learn without social fear. Those are my two favorite dances, by the way, the waltz and the West Coast swing. Though the tango is getting up there for different reasons, different, more passionate reasons. The tango is definitely getting up there. I don't know if I personally would go and learn the tango, but the West Coast swing and the waltz, definitely. Learn my pattern, learn my way, to plant a kiss at end of day, with arms like silk that move around before shivering to your siren sound. Wrapped around your finger as I think you know, with the things you down and the acts you show. To know my weakness when you insist, lost in your arms, never be able to resist. Who am I to you that this would be done, like a game that was played and won? How did I become a target for a cat as a toy, behind seductive smiles, oh so sly and coy? If this is how it must be, I shall not fight to attain the pleasures and desires in our sight. For what is such a wonderful life, to end up with such a seductive wife? I want somebody who's extroverted and assertive. Because I certainly am not either of those things. What do you fight for when you stand in war? Do you fight for the land and glory, while for others to write in your story? There is a stillness in the air, full of peace and care. If only one would stop to hear how they'd like all are held dear. If you were ethereal, what stories would they tell? Of the place you've lived and then fell? Would it be one of tears and lament, of a time lived and a time well spent? A glass of pleasure at the end of wine, of hidden sorrow, claiming all is fine, crying to sleep with no one to hold, trying to escape the lies you had been told. Raise a toast and stay a while, pay no attention to the growing body pile. No harm will come if you never leave. This a promise you must believe. So basically, live and you die. I mean, leave and you die. Not live and you die. Leave and you die. From the poor to the ones with power, who look on down among the tower, all kept among a fickle line that could break should one so incline. What is the price of your greed among your kind and breed? For what do you desire more, to fill the cup wasted at the door? Some things come as personal test, to see what you can do best. But once we find out and know, what will we do and where will we go? When things were good, we became bored as we opened the chest where conflict was stored. And so with distance now to set apart, as hatred grows while seeping into the heart. Oh, the white knights will never obtain the woman they long to attain. And so in their delusion they defend and speak, while in their homes and souls they wreak. Cry thunder and let loose the hounds of war, as they run with a mighty howl and roar, with destruction and death in their wake, for in all the souls they'll drag down and take. The rivers flow frozen in place, for people to look and face, with all things frozen in the air, to move on closer they would not dare. There are many a thing we do now know, yet in pride to try and show. The answer is that we do not have or understand, all while trying to become a king of the land. How easy is it for them to go reap, the people who are but sheep, to guide where they wish them to fall, with the manipulation they cry and call. The knight raised his sword in glory to make a name for himself in a story, for the bard to write and sing, the honor that he would go and bring. Okay. Brief pause. Oh, excuse me. What strange things lurk in the woods that would offer their fruit and goods with a smile ever so charming? Surely this isn't alarming. What use is a ring in the hands of a whore who once knew what love was before? But perhaps all is needed is a true chance to change their soul and enhance. A mark of strange insanity is a sickness of obsessive vanity, to attract all the wrong attention that enters into apprehension. I shall carve out a path that must be written for all to read and see, for while lost and aimless in life and all the things they could be. Upon the bridge, the toll of a troll who wanted your chocolate and wanted it all. For this particular one had a tooth so sweet, and demanded such for his tooth to treat. The countdown begins at 10 as things draw closer when we reach the end and then go to a new path ascend. Clash of thunder in the sky, to be loudest as they try, when lightning joins to compete, when it strikes the sky and streets. This is a matter of time, in that there is no crime, to make things quick and short, while building our pillow fort. There was a mighty snowball fight upon the beautiful winter day. It became such a blinding sight, all the white under the sun's ray. What will you go seek in your adventures grand and meek, of all the lessons to learn, to finally gain what you would earn? Would you go in comfort, want to be held dear, as you snuggled with one you want near, or in your loneliness embrace the cold, for you trapped yourself inside and were never bold? What chances will you take in all that you do and make, to elevate them to a place higher, for all to watch and admire? In a smile so wide, to whom you love to confide, to properly love with all your might, while others seethe with jealous sight. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's not an Ascendra. I just wanted to make sure. It didn't seem like one, but gotta make sure. The mountains sing a forgotten song, where the animals travel and belong, hidden between the forest deep, where the magic slumbers and others sleep. Down the sky as they dive, to feel the sense of being alive, while others look in fear, the height that call them near. An end of a breath to relax, 1,000 done in its tracks, all done in the first milestone of a poet writing all alone. That is going to be it for these lengthier videos. There are going to be, of course, more shorts coming up, but the first milestone of 1,000 poems is now out and posted. There's going to be another milestone video set that will be in the future, but now from like here to like next time, if there are longer videos, it's either going to be this one spliced together or it's going to be a teaching video, but more on that video later because it's going to be on an interesting poetic style that you probably haven't heard of. So that will be released sometime within the week. But typically for like these lengthy poem reading videos, like go this long with hundreds in them, or 100 in them, that is going to be it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.